Then the third law of motion of Newton says, action and are equal, but in opposite. Now, for as long as I have known General MK, right from the time he started his soldiering profession, he has been a man under attack. He's been targeted. He's been abused for nothing. So when I hear people saying, how can a soldier be in politics? It is you who put him in politics. Nobody put him in politics. When this man chose to serve his country as an LDU, he was abused by the political actors. You know them, big people, isn't it? He kept quiet. When he became a second lieutenant, he was targeted. They are grooming him. He kept quiet because he's a soldier. He can't talk. Not that he couldn't speak, but he was a humble soldier. When he's in Congo fighting, they are on him. The man is lying. He is not fighting. So finally, that's why Mawanda tells you that the MK movement spontaneously came up. Congratulations. So you got tired of seeing somebody who offered himself to serve his country being a punching bag of political failures. If you've been contesting with President Museveni, why do you attack General MK? Why? So, to put things into context, MK people, MK supporters came up in defense as an opposite force to challenge those who were attacking MK. And here you are. So those who were really, that's why I agree with him when he tweeted and said, those who started the allegations about MK project, in a way, really launched him. So now that you have invited him to your politics, why are you worried about him? So with those few remarks, let me invite Honorable Captain Mike Mukula.
Let me start, first of all, before I address the team, by taking a roll call. Bafumbira, komera komera. Amakuru, murakome. Ariko turabakunda cyane. Mutera ijana ku ijana. Abakiga agandi mwebare kuyija abakiga twabashimira munonga mwebare kureta ikicucu cyahoire gitera bugaro Kasese wabukire wasinja kusibu wasinja mibiri mpige makofi. Abatoro muri muta mwebale kwija byo mwona muri kurungi obugaro abanyankore agandi mwebara abanyankore mwena kwija twabashemererwa mutera bugaro muhoroje mwebere kureta cyuncu Buganda muri mutya yoga muri burungi Buganda weri mukubene mu ngalo busoga kodeyo amawulire abeka bakala ate so just biari Ngaletesi. Emuria. Achelasi. Babarabara kanin. Lango kobango. Atina pasdon atiekan. Wauni shimudu. Achori kobango. Lubanga poti gulu. Maro gulu. Yue gulu. Undu bakuchindu. Adinyo. Motorobahi. Makofi. West Nile, Ingoni. Azimichi. Azimindi. Our 4 Minindi. Our 4 Tutu. Our 4 Yeke. Makofi. West Nile Tegel Kepin. Kabatakazi. Kabatakidima. You are Duke Marawai. I have been able to address the comrades here today. The comrades, the patriots are here today. Those who doubted, Bunyoro, Abanyoro Murimuta, Mwebari Muno Kuija Abanyoro, Amashita Galiyo, Mutero Bugaro. I bring you greetings from General MK. Hey, Chamge Amite, that is the bay, the hills of the east. I am happy that you have come here as comrades, as patriots, and I want to tell you that Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, the late, one of the mentors of General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni with the Samora Machel, when Idi Amin attacked the salient of Kagera, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere in Dar es Salaam addressed the people of Tanzania. And in his address, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere said, Watanzania, nyoka imetuvamia, nyoka imetuingilia. Sisi Watanzania hatuna chochote cha kufanya, isipokuwa tuko na kazi moja tu, ya kutoa nyoka ndani ya nyumba. Uwezo tunayo, sababu tunayo, na nia tunayo. It meant that we, that time he was calling on Tanzanians, had a duty to liberate Tanzania from the attack. My message to you today in the beginning is to tell you, comrades, and you the young people, every generation has a duty. And I want to tell you, and listen to me very carefully, success without succession is not revolution. General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is not a politician. He is a revolutionary leader. General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has had experience of leadership right from Mozambique, from Tanzania. He has been in the trenches. He has fought hard, and as you do realize, from the independence of this country in 1962, Uganda has never been stable. At one time we had a leader who was in power for 68 days, and he was ironically 68 years old, and that was Yusuf Lule. Because governance in this country and the change in government became the order of the day. In 1986, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni took over power. And when he took over power, at the steps of Parliament, he said, and I quote, "This change is not just a mere change of guards. I think this is going to be a fundamental change." I want to tell you that he said it's not one government coming and removing the other and then this one coming in so that it is a circus. Governance of Uganda is not for those who want to try by error. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, under the National Resistance Movement, has been able to hold this country together for the last 38 years. And listen to me very carefully. Wale ambao wanacheza na serikali, do not know what governance is. They are not going to deal with the future of Uganda. Vijana tuko zi. Uwezo tunao.
Happening now.
Sound system.
Tutaataganya mu mpeereza yaffe okukutuusaako ebyakagwawo.
One of the lowest in the world at an average. By 1986, we had 1,352 kilometers of tarmac. Today, we're heading towards 7,000 kilometers of tarmac. Electricity in Ginger Owen Falls Dam, built in 1954, had only 2 turbines generating 62 megawatts. Today, when we open Karuma, we'll be heading towards 2,000 megawatts. In the year 1986, infant mortality, maternal mortality, women dying at the table of birth was all at negative. Today I want to tell you that Uganda indices has become the best that World Health Organization can talk about proudly. In 1986, when Yoweri Kaguta Museveni took over power, comrades, we had in our socio-economic transformation that General Brother Katumbi has been talking about, Ambassador, there was no education for our children. Today we have universal primary education. It may not be perfect, but it is one of the best, one of the symbols of the transformation of human resource. And I want to tell you, that is the future of this country. We have universal secondary education. The National Resistance Movement has been able to dispense medicine to our people. Listen to this even more. By 1986, we had about 14 million people. Because of the programs that the National Resistance Movement has been able to put on the ground, for those who want to hear, listen to this carefully. The population growth, as we talk now, Uganda is the youngest nation in the world. Why? Because the population growth of this country is at 3.2%. When you look at fertility rate, we are at 6.3%. When you look at the numbers that we produce nearly 5,000 children every day. tuzaala abaana 15 buli nnaku olw'okugema. The age between 0 to 4 is nearly 8 million children. The age between 82 and above is 216 people. Look at that variance. The age between below the age of 30 is 80% of our population. The age below 16 years is 55% of our population. What does it mean? We have a young nation. This can only be achieved by positive results. And if you look at the economy of Uganda, Uganda now is rated among the 10 fastest growing economies in the world. There are those who have eyes but don't see. There are those who have ears but don't hear. Tell them. Let me tell you even more. By 1986, Uganda was a pariah state, a failed nation. Failed nation. Kabisa ilikuwa imeanguka. By 1986, Agrawari took up arms to fight Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, NRM, in 1986, and killed all the LC's ones in Busia, Malaba, up to Rakaka, a group called FOBA, Force Obote Back Again. A little after that, 1987, my brothers from Tesono, a man called Peter Tai and Colonel William Omaria, with a man called Hitler, took up arms, formed UPA, Uganda People's Army, fought for 7 years inside Teso. They were disarmed, they completely neutralized by our gallant forces of NRA. In the West Nile, we had a man called Juma Ori, West Nile Bank Front Part 1 and 2. He was injured in Oraba, died in Juba. I think he died in Khartoum. West Nile Bank Front was defeated. Then there was another man called Ali Bamuze, Uganda Rescue Front Part 1 and 2, fighting from Rojo. Ali Bamuze had to lay down arms and negotiate and joined our gallant forces of UPDF. That is another group. Then you had another group of Alice Lakwena. Alice Lakwena took up arms, a group called Holy Spirit Movement. But before that, there was a man called John Michael Lateng, who General Saleh went and negotiated with when he landed with the helicopter and they came out. Alice Lakwena took up the arms, fought all the way up to Jinja, Magamaga. She was defeated in Magamaga, crossed Lubino into Kenya, into exile. She died in exile, defeated by our gallant forces. Then we had here a man called Itongwa, Major Itongwa, Chirimutu. He fought this government. Itongwa took a man called the Minister of Health, from Bugerere, and captured him, James Makumbi. But he was defeated, went to Denmark and died there. Then in Kasese, you had a group called NALU, National Army for the Liberation of Uganda, led by a man, former Minister of Obote. That man fought. He was killed in Gilgil in Kenya. Part of his force joined the Tabliks, who fought in Old Kampala. If you recall, Kazini put them in a bus, gave them 15 minutes when he was commanding the military police, and said, I give you 15 minutes. If you don't, I will storm the mosque of Old Kampala now, of Aga Khan. Those guys walked in, taken to Luzira, under the mercy of General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. They were being the prerogative and walked out of mercy, negotiated by Ambu Mayanja. When they walked out, they were next found in Buseruka in Bunyoro, where UPDF attacked them. They entered the DRC Congo and now joined the Nalu force to form what you call the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF. Those two joined together. We are still with them in the DRC Congo, fighting them. Because some people forget, they think running this country is a joke. We had a man called Konj, Lord's Resistance Army, cutting ears, cutting the noses, cutting the mouth, amputating people, and kept the whole northern Uganda paralyzed for over 23 years. He attacked the Teso region in 2003, July the 15th, and I want to tell you, we took off these suits and put on uniform. And I'm happy to say, General MK Kainerugaba joined our boys in fighting and obliterating the forces of Konj. And our gallant forces of UPDF, again led by MK and many other forces, rode LRA like a carpet, 2,000 kilometers in Central African Republic, never to come back again. Na vijana bado munacheza na Uganda. Uganda is not a stage for you to... Uganda is not a stage for you to come in and say what you want, do what you want. It is not an experiment to govern Uganda. It costs life. It is against this that I'm telling you, comrades, that when Uganda, weigh Uganda carefully. General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has taught many people. A movement of 27, today the national resistance movement encompasses the whole country. I'm happy that you, comrades, the chairman of the movement, are here. I'm happy that you, the chairman of the districts, are here. I'm happy that members of parliament are here. I'm happy that ministers are here. I'm happy that you, the civil service, civil society, are here. I have seen activists coming together. Let me tell you, a revolution is dynamic. There are those who will take over, and a revolution is not tribal. A revolution is not ethnic. A revolution does not have religious divide. A revolution is of patriots. That's why I'm happy today to say that launching this League of Patriots is a humble duty that I cherish, and I thank the Lord Almighty. All we need to do, there never has been a time better than today. The opposition is at its weakest moment. The opposition is at its weakest moment. You can see that inside Forum for Democratic Change, this group has been fighting the other, and this group has been fighting the other. It's no longer Forum for Democratic Change. It's Forum for Democratic Confusion. There are groups that have joined us. UPC has joined us, or working with us one way or the other. DP is working with us. You have this other group that is trying to raise confusion. You cannot, and I want to send a message to them, you cannot associate with those who have got a culture which is anti-African, and think that you are fighting for the minority rights, which is anti-African. How do you embrace a norm which is against the teaching of God, Sodom and Gomorrah, and you want to lead Uganda? How do you let our children, men and men, marry each other, women and women marry each other? How do I embrace my son coming home with another man home, and then I say that I'm African? Let the Europeans have their culture. Africa has not yet come to that stage. Hatujafika pale. If you want to associate with homosexuals, go to Europe. You go out and decampaign your country. Munafanya namna gani? What kind of leader do you want? You can have a quarrel with your government, but never have a quarrel with your country. Never. Uganda will live beyond me. It will live beyond you. But be a patriot, be a nationalist, like this league that has been formed today. How can you go out to the Europeans? We as Africans, the black people, were subjugated for 400 years. We are sold like slaves. Brazil now is the second largest black nation in the world after Nigeria because of the white man. Africa has got a duty to rediscover itself. Never has it been a better opportunity than today. Somewhere I read, we as Africans are not recognized by those people. Somewhere I read that we believe in the Bible. Somewhere I read in the Bible that we are people of God. But the moment you go against the teaching of the Lord Almighty, the Lord of Abraham, the Lord of David, we communally will disassociate from you and reject you. No wonder the Catholic Church the other day, the bishop said, the Pope said that you can bless these people. I thank all the bishops and archbishops of Africa who stood together and firm and said, we will not associate with that statement. That shows you that Africa is now forming itself. Africa is rediscovering yourself. And the League of young leaders like you will now be able to take Africa to the higher destination. My message to you, my brothers and comrades, MK is a young man. I sit in the conclave of the Central Executive, which is the Central Executive Committee, the political command. The conclave decides who will move forward in this country, when and how. Hii kazi mtuachie. Hii kazi wachie, tutafanya kazi. Hii kazi mtuachie vijana. Ndoza mumpulira. Central Executive Committee is the conclave. It's the one which will decide. You will have black smoke, have white black smoke, but there will come a day when we will have white smoke out of the conclave. Mutulie, mutulie, mutulie. I want therefore to take the opportunity to salute all of you, comrades, who have stood together. It started as a simple movement. It started as a simple movement. Today, you have metamorphosed, and the narrative is different now. It has encapsulated, it has captured the country. Those of you who are in the opposition, Muhoozi, Tujja, Kachali Mabaga. You have seen here comrades who have come from Nup, the two of them. Those are just the beginning. There are more, and I want to tell you, the leaders of Nup, we know more than you know. We are the ones who are inside. We have bigger ears, We have bigger eyes. We're in charge. And we are not going to let the sovereignty, the future and security of this country to people who do not have this country at heart. We are going to mobilize, we are going to galvanize, and I call upon you, comrades, in unity, agali awamu gegalume nyama. I call upon you, remain behind our struggle. The national resistance movement has got a long journey. We are still here, and this country, we will go out to every person, door to door, galvanize and mobilize. I want to assure you, Uganda has got a bright future under this movement. In conclusion, I want to tell you, comrades, I am very excited. Never have I been so excited like I have today. When I saw many of you here, smiling and sloganeering, I have never seen so much spirit and fire inside people. Keep this fire burning. The only challenge of you, the supporters of the National Resistance Movement, is you. NRM does not have any opposition. The opposition is inside NRM. Inchogere? Tujabye? If you unite, nobody, and I want to assure you, nobody. We have now liberated this country economically. Uganda now has achieved a high level of national, regional, and international recognition. General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni hosted the non-aligned movement here. General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was recognized and hosted the G77 plus China. Which other nation has had a leader that has been recognized like that? We now have a duty, wandugu zanguni, tuko na kazi. I call upon you to get to understand that, yes, work has been done, but there is more work has to be done. That's what Katunji taught here. We have 3 or 4 or 5 major challenges. Employment, youth unemployment. 3, service delivery. 4, effective management of government. That can be done by you, the generation that we are launching today. We have reduced the load from you. We have reduced, NRM has reduced the load from you. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has done his part. It's now incumbent upon you, the young people, to take Uganda forward. It was done in Cuba when Fidel Castro stepped aside. It was done in North Korea. It has been done in ANC. It has been done in Tanzania with Chama cha Mapinduzi when Nyerere laid, God recalled him. We will do it here in Uganda. We will manage the transition very well, and I want to assure you, Muhoozi is your answer. I thank you.
Thank you.